Most people think their cat walking across their chest at ba. Home in the morning is random, annoying, or just part of being a cat. But from your cat's perspective, something much more important may be happening. Notice where they step most often: your chest, your throat, your face. Those are the exact places where breathing movement and body warmth are easiest to detect. Cats are not simply wandering across you without purpose. They are checking for signs that you are still active, present, and safe. During the daytime, your cat constantly receives reassurance from movement, speech, footsteps, eye contact, and routine activity. But at night, all of those signals disappear. The house becomes quiet, your body becomes still, and from your cat's perspective, you almost seem to vanish into an inactive state. In nature, sleeping beside another animal that suddenly stops moving could signal danger, illness, or death. Survival depends on monitoring the condition of nearby members of the group. So, when your cat climbs onto your chest and feels it rise beneath their paws, or stands close enough to sense the
His
warmth
breathing
and rhythm
was
of your
steady
breathing,
and calm.
they are gathering information
She
their
curled
nervous
up
system
beside him,
instinctively
content
trusts.
that all was well.
You are still here. You are still alive. What humans interpret as interruption may actually be a form of attachment-based vigilance. Cats are often portrayed as emotionally distant animals, but behaviors like this suggest something more complex. They repeatedly return to the same person during the most vulnerable and quiet part of the night, because that person functions as a central safety figure in their environment. The nighttime walk is not necessarily about attention or food. In many cases, it is a reassurance ritual. Your cat is rechecking the stability of the living presence they rely on most. Once they confirm the breathing, the warmth, and the familiar rhythm of your body, many cats settle down almost immediately afterward. The behavior may look small from the outside, but inside the cat's survival system,
ensures
it
its
carries
human is
real
safe
emotional
before
meaning.
finally settling
Most people
down.
assume their cat
A
walking
behavior
across them at
rooted
night
in
is
deep
simply
trust and
attention-seeking
attachment.
behavior. But there is another system operating underneath it that humans almost never notice: scent communication. Cats possess scent glands in many parts of their body, including their paw pads. Every time your cat steps across your blanket, presses against your chest, or slowly walks over your legs during the night, they are leaving behind microscopic chemical markers that carry territorial and social information. To humans, nothing changes. To another cat, those scent traces announce ownership, familiarity, and emotional connection. Your cat is not only touching you
Kneading,
physically,
sometimes called
they
making
are
biscuits,
reapplying their
is a
identity
sign of
onto
deep
you.
contentment.
This becomes
It also
especially
releases
important
unique
because human activity constantly removes those scent traces throughout the day. You shower, change clothes, leave the house, interact with other environments, and return carrying unfamiliar smells. By nighttime, much of the scent map your cat established the previous evening has faded or disappeared entirely. So when the house becomes quiet again, many cats instinctively begin rebuilding it. The nighttime walk becomes a kind of renewal ritual. Every step quietly says the same thing: this person belongs inside my safe territory. Research from the University of Lincoln found that cats living in multi-pet households display territorial scent marking behaviors more frequently than cats living alone. When several animals share the same environment, maintaining scent ownership becomes more important because the social landscape is constantly shifting. That is one reason some cats repeatedly pace across the same person night after night while ignoring other areas of the bed entirely. The behavior is not random. It is targeted communication directed toward the individual they consider emotionally significant. Humans usually interpret this as affection alone, but feline scent behavior operates on a deeper biological level than simple cuddling. Scent is how cats stabilize relationships, define territory, and create emotional familiarity inside their environment. When your cat walks across you at high, comb in the morning, they are not merely disturbing your sleep. They are quietly rebuilding the invisible scent connection that tells their nervous system you still belong together inside the same safe world. At night, your cat is never as asleep as they appear. Even when curled beside you with their eyes closed, part of their nervous system remains alert, continuously scanning the environment for movement, vibration, and sound. Cats can hear frequencies reaching around 64,000 hertz, far beyond the human limit. That means while the room feels completely silent to you, Your cat may already be processing distant footsteps outside, pipes shifting behind walls, insects moving inside vents, or animals crossing the yard several houses away. Their world at night is filled with signals humans never notice. When something unfamiliar catches their attention, many cats instinctively move toward the safest elevated position available. In most bedrooms, that position is not a shelf or a chair. It is you. Your body becomes both a lookout tower and a stable observation platform inside their survival system. That is why some cats suddenly climb onto your chest in the middle of the night and stare toward the door or hallway with wide, focused eyes. They are not behaving randomly. They are responding to environmental information their senses detected before yours ever could. Research published in Animal Cognition suggests that cats remain highly responsive to familiar and unfamiliar sounds even while resting, constantly filtering the environment for relevant changes. But safety is only half of the reason your body becomes so attractive at night. The other half is heat. A cat's normal body temperature is higher than a human's, which means they lose warmth more quickly once the house cools down after sunset. Your body becomes a concentrated heat source they can map and evaluate through the pads of their paws. That slow pacing across your stomach, legs, and chest before they finally settle is not indecision. It is thermal scanning. Cats compare different temperature zones until they locate the warmest and most stable area, usually near the chest or abdomen where body heat is strongest. This behavior often intensifies during winter because the temperature difference between your body and the surrounding room becomes much greater. To your cat, you are not simply another sleeping creature in the bed. At night, you become a warm, elevated island of safety inside a dark environment full of sounds, movements, and sensory information. They are biologically programmed to monitor constantly. When your cat starts walking across your body at 5 in the morning, it can feel personal, almost calculated, like they chose the exact moment you were sleeping deepest, just to wake you up. But most of the time, your cat is not manipulating you. They are following biological rhythms that existed long before humans ever brought cats indoors. Cats are crepuscular animals, which means their nervous systems are naturally most active around dawn and dusk. In the wild, those hours offered the best hunting conditions because many small prey animals moved most heavily during low light periods. Even indoor cats still carry that ancient timing system inside their bodies. So while you are trying to stay asleep at sunrise, your cat's brain is beginning to switch fully into alert mode. Their energy rises, their attention sharpens, and their body starts preparing for activity. Food becomes part of this pattern very quickly. Cats develop extremely accurate feeding expectations tied to routine and repetition. If breakfast usually happens around 6 in the morning, your cat's internal clock begins anticipating it long before the bowl appears. Research from the University of Zurich showed that cats can predict feeding times with remarkable precision, sometimes within only a small window of variation. That means the nighttime pacing, chest walking, or pawing at your face often begins because your cat already expects the next event in the sequence. But food is not always the only reason. Some cats wake their owners simply because they are mentally understimulated. A cat that spent the entire previous day sleeping, resting indoors, or lacking active play may suddenly experience a burst of unused predatory energy before sunrise. And humans accidentally reinforce the behavior all the time. If getting stepped on consistently leads to food, attention, movement, or interaction, the cat learns the strategy works. Over time, the routine becomes stronger and more predictable. What feels frustrating to humans is often just biology meeting habit. Your cat is not plotting against your sleep. They are following a body clock shaped by evolution and strengthened by the patterns humans unknowingly create around them every day. If your cat climbs onto your chest in the middle of the night and begins pressing their paws slowly in and out against your body, that behavior may look small from the outside, but emotionally it reaches all the way back to the earliest stage of their life. Humans call it kneading or making biscuits, but the movement begins
Cat
long
psychology.
before a kitten
The
understands
dawn
anything
zoomies.
about humans,
Early
homes,
morning energy
or
bursts
affection.
are completely
Newborn
normal
kittens
behavior,
knead
while
against their
behavior
mother's belly while nursing. The repeated pressure helps stimulate milk flow, but it also happens during the safest moments a kitten will ever experience: warmth, feeding, heartbeat, protection, and physical closeness. Their nervous system learns to associate that rhythmic motion with survival itself. What matters is that the behavior never fully disappears. Adult cats continue kneading when they enter states of deep comfort, emotional security, and physical relaxation. So when your cat climbs onto your body at night and starts kneading your chest or stomach, their brain may be reactivating one of the oldest emotional memory systems they possess. In that moment, your breathing, warmth, heartbeat, and stillness combine into something their nervous system recognizes as profoundly safe. Night intensifies this behavior because darkness naturally increases a cat's desire for protected resting spaces and familiar social contact. During the quietest hours of the day, your body becomes more than just a warm place to sleep. It becomes a living reminder of security, regulation, and attachment. That is why many cats need most intensely while purring, half asleep, or curled directly against the chest, where heartbeat and breathing vibrations are easiest to feel. To humans, it can seem almost childish or strangely emotional, because in a biological sense, it is. The adult cat is temporarily returning to a behavioral state connected to infancy and maternal comfort. And unlike many animal behaviors that disappear after development, kneading survives because the emotional system behind it remains important throughout life. When your cat kneads on you at night, they are not simply getting comfortable. They may be experiencing one of the deepest forms of safety their brain remembers.
This kneading
Using your
behavior,
body as the
followed by
closest
curling
emotional
up,
equivalent to the
is a
protection
strong
they once
indicator
felt
of a
beside their
secure
mother.
attachment bond between a cat and its owner.